Peace and love, everybody. Um, I decided to do this live as a test run. I pulled my laptop out. Um, I don't think I can go live on my phone. So we're live on my laptop. Um, give me a second. I'll be right back. No. Come back here now. Get back over here. Don't do that. All right. All right. What's funny? You laughing at? Come back here. Here. I know my ABCs. Come on and sing with me. Who is that messaging me? Come here. Hush. Why do you keep saying that? You're gonna drop the chair. Come here. Come here. Come here. Stop it. Here. I know my ABCs. Come on and sing with me. I know my ABCs. Come on and sing. Tell him to stay off his chair because I don't trust him. All right. Yeah, here. We are back. We have returned. Who messaging me now? All your hair and crumbs. Come on over here. I'm finished getting your hair done, taken out. Let's see who messaging me. I already know my intuition don't be lying to me. I appreciate when people are honest. Honesty is like so valuable. It's so cherished because it's so rare. It's so rare. I don't know why people avoid honesty so much. But anywho, we're here to talk about autism. I was planning on doing a live yesterday doing some artwork. I wasn't able to get the supplies to do so. So, and there's been a lot of things going on at the same time that I'm working on all at once. So I decided to do this tester video today and even see how it goes. Because I kind of forgot that even though I can't go live without hitting a certain limit on my phone, that I can go live on my laptop. So I just wanted to make sure that was still the case. And fortunately, obviously, that is still the case. Hey, keep your fingers off your mouth. Stop picking at your mouth. Stop picking at your mouth. Fortunately, that is still the case. So we in there. So I want to talk to you guys about autism. Just bear with me. Give me a second. I need to get back to my meditation and yoga because my mental be having me doing too many different things at one time. And we got to get some order and clarity going on here. So let me first start by, I wasn't supposed to be clicking on that. I was supposed to be clicking on the search engine so that we can look up the actual definition of autism according to what's out there. What is autism? Let's start with that. What is autism? Okay. Based on Wikipedia, autism, formerly called autism spectrum disorder, ASD. They're trying to make me donate. I'm not donating. I don't mean not right now. Autism, formerly called autism spectrum disorder, ASD, or autism spectrum condition, ASC, is a neurodevelopmental disorder, disputable, characterized by deficits in social communication and social interactions, and repetitive or restricted patterns of behaviors, interests, or activities, which can include hyper and hyperreactivity to sensory input, meaning that it can manifest very differently in each person. For example, some are non-speaking, while others have proficient spoken language. Because of this, there's a wide variation in the support needs of people across the autism spectrum. So, I was already expecting the definition that's out there to be off, very off, because autism is not a disorder. Actually, many times it's quite the opposite. Many autistic people requires a lot of order. They don't deal well with disorder. I don't deal well with disorder. Now PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, or whatever variation of that that people have realized, that is a disorder because it is like it's not okay. But autism is not something that's not okay. Like, you can be autistic and be okay. Now, there are aspects of autism that aren't necessarily okay, like those who have aggressive tendencies um, at inappropriate times. I personally have dealt with that at points in my life. It was triggered by extreme amounts of stress. At the same time, the things that was causing the extreme amounts of stress and the extreme amounts of stress was not okay. I.e., I was not okay, not because I was autistic, but because I was under a lot of abnormal levels of stress. And me being autistic made it, I'm trying to be cautious of how I say it, because the first thing that's coming to my mind is more difficult to deal with the stress. It was more difficult for me to force myself to pretend like the stress was okay, because in my mind, why? Like, what benefit? What is the purpose of pretending like it's okay, and then at the same time, like, it's not okay? And honestly, the amount of stress that a person that I was under, I don't know anybody who could deal with all of those things and be okay. So actually, even when I was in my aggressive tendencies, I kept order a whole lot longer than those who would consider themselves to be neurotypical, because I know for a fact certain people would have retaliated, became very violent, long time before the time period where I did. So I disagree, and a lot of autistic people disagree with the disorder aspect of it, calling it a disorder. Autism is not a disorder. Autism is not a disease. And that is why I created this platform on the different social medias, because we need to get to the point of realizing and accepting that autism is not a disorder or a disease. There are a lot of geniuses in this world. And I would argue to say that I'm pretty certain that majority of them would be classified as autistic. And we know a lot of them. We know quite a few of them. Albert Einstein was autistic. Um, Maya Angelou, I don't know if they specifically classified her as autistic, but I do know that there was a point in time in her childhood where she went, I believe, years without speaking. Although it was due to it was a reaction to a very traumatic situation, a collection of very traumatic situations that happened that made her feel unsafe to speak. But I personally would view that as a form of autism, because neurotypical people, quote unquote, would probably not take that and say, I'm not going to speak again, because I'm afraid that my speaking kills people. Um, And I'm not saying I don't think she's crazy. I actually I very much so admire and cherish Mama Maya Angelou. Um, but people who are quick to classify and lump people in a category would have probably called her crazy. Almost certain growing up, she probably dealt with a lot of bullying due to her um, not speaking during that time period. And that stems from people thinking that autism in its different forms and its different quote unquote symptoms are a disability or a disease or makes a person crazy. Um, and that creates an unsafe world for a lot of people. It actually, a lot of people that we think are quote unquote neurotypical, we only think that they're neurotypical, quote unquote neurotypical, because they're masking. And that's another topic that I want to do a whole separate video on is masking, because that is something that is highly major in the world of autism. It's really, I wouldn't even just say in the world of autism. I would really just say in the world, period, because I feel like almost everybody, if not everybody, is masking. Look at this whole social media age. Like, people aren't putting their true whole picture of their reality on social media. People are putting all of the good things. When somebody puts something that's not the good thing, people tend to make you feel bad, or bash you, or try to say that, oh, well, you're attention seeking, or whatever the case may be, when a lot of the stuff that people are putting that are perceived as them having a good life or things being so great for them, they're doing that for attention seeking. The whole the whole monetization of social media is a force. It you have to seek attention in order to seek to get monetized. So it's like the society is forcing the whole attention seeking nature. Um, so I don't monetized. So it's like the society is forcing the whole attention seeking nature. Um, so I personally don't get it for somebody to call somebody out for attention seeking when your your social media, your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, IG, all of that, those things is based on attention seeking yourself. Because if you didn't have the amount of followers or subscribers or quote unquote friends that you had, the amount of interactions on your posts that you had, would you keep doing it? Would you continue to utilize the social medias if nobody paid attention to your social media? And I personally feel like I can answer that question. I'm almost certain the answer would most likely be no, because honestly, the only reason I have continued using a lot of my social medias at all is because we live in a society where you don't have any human interaction unless you utilize social media in some type of way. And everybody needs some type of human interaction at least sometimes in their life. Even autistic people who tend to like to be alone, some of autistic people who tend to like to be alone need some human interaction sometimes at some points. You know, they don't just be in complete and total isolation. It's just their interactions that they require, it may be just a little different. Um, but they still need some type of interaction. They still need some type of acknowledgement. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like the whole ideals that people have that creates this whole separation and division between autism and neurotypical and so on and so forth, and calling it a disorder or a disease or a diagnosis or anything like that is created by toxicity. It's created by a toxic mentality that I am better than you mentality. Um, because in order for you to call something a disorder, that would make the person who doesn't have the disorder better than the one who has the disorder, because you have order and then you have disorder, right? So the disorder would be beneath the order, when that's not true. That's not true at all. Like I said, Einstein, Maya Angelou, um, what's the guy who owns Tesla? I can't think of his name right now. I'm not a fan of his, but we can't dispute that he doesn't contain some genius, quite a bit of genius. Um, you know, who else? Steve Jobs. We could probably go on and on and on. There, a lot of the most, um, heck, I'm sure, Warren Buffett is autistic. Look at he has been since his young adulthood so focused on the stock market that he has mastered the stock market more than I think anybody. I don't know of anybody who has mastered the stock market more than Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has made his whole life around the stock market. I don't even know how to go into too much detail without rambling about that. Like, he doesn't invest in the stock market so he can buy mansions and so he can buy Teslas or whatever. Like, he invests in the stock market because it's fun to him. How many people can say that? I personally find it a little fun too. Um, I don't necessarily, I don't, I'm sure I don't find it as fun as he do, but I find it quite fun. I find investing, period, very fun. And honestly, that's where my social skills are impacted, because there's not too many people who find fun in investing. There's not too many people who have finds fun or entertainment in any form of business or making money, like any of their entertainment being around wealth building. Me personally, I find that fun. Um, I just haven't figured out how to, you know, make it work. Um, let me rephrase that, because I know how things a lot of things work. It's pieces of the puzzle that I still have missing, and that is the pieces of the puzzles that I have missing is majority, if not all, surrounded around social aspects of it, like finding partners, um, finding investors, um, just everything around not doing it alone. You know, the networking aspect of it. That part I haven't figured out. Um, I really don't know if I even have that much. No, I'm not going to say that because I do have an interest in networking. I have a lot of interest in networking. I just am very limited in my interest of networking because I don't have an interest in dealing with people who are toxic around the subjects that I'm interested in. Um, Meaning people who have toxic mentalities or abusive or narcissistic or gaslighting mentalities or tendencies when it comes to those subjects, or people who make excuses around those subjects. And so that limits the access, or the it limits the boundary of the categories of people that I would have to network with. And finding those people is difficult because they're so spread out. I hope that I worded that the best way. Because that was a struggle trying to come to get the thoughts, those thoughts and those words together to express that. But yeah, in a nutshell, that has been where my autism has come into play majority. It also has come into play dealing with my family life because of the fact that once I'm focused on something, once I know the direction that I want to go, it's pretty impossible. I'm not even going to say difficult. It's impossible for me to force myself to go any other direction than the direction that I am set to go, unless somebody can explain to me and help me fully comprehend how the other direction that I'm going to go is going to lead me further into the direction that I am set to go in. You get what I'm saying? I hope you get what I'm saying. Um, yeah, so that has a lot to do with where my autism comes into play. Um, we don't have anybody in here yet, so I don't have any questions to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video because I don't want to just be rambling. And certain things that I want to talk about, I want to make it its own separate video unless I had people, asking specific questions. And since we don't have anybody in the chat right now, we're going to go ahead and end it now. Grantfully, because I am going to share this video, grantfully, we will have some people joining us in the chat in our next video, and I can answer some questions for you guys. Or if anybody wants to share their story on our channel, they will have the opportunity to do that. So everybody have a beautiful day. Stay empowered, stay inspired, and stay positive. Peace.